Hi, folks. This is Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. Today, we're looking at Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King. Sadly, I did not own this until after Akira Toriyama passed away, but when there was a PS2 drop at Ben's Game Zone and I saw this one complete with the slipcover, I decided to pick it up. And no, the slipcover is not in perfect condition, but it's not torn or stained. It's just rough from being opened and probably from being pulled on and off a shelf by somebody who appreciated it. And you know me by now, I like games that have a little bit of history to them that have actually been played as opposed to ones that are perfectly pristine. So that sits okay with me. So this game is locked in a development cycle where it has not been released for modern platforms. It's not on Switch, PS5, Xbox One X, anything like that. It's not even on Steam. The most recent version of this you can get is a Nintendo 3DS re-release. The history goes a little something like this. Japan on PS2 November of 2004 and November of 2005 for North America. So we had to wait a full year to get this game. Europe had the same problem. They didn't get it until 2006. It was released for Android and iOS in Japan 2013, again a whole year later, 2014, and a whole year later after that it came out on 3DS in Japan in 2015. 2 years later, it came out in North America on 3DS in 2017, and then it came out the same year in Europe and Australia. So we're looking at 7 years ago was the last version of this game you could buy on any console. So you're either playing it on 3DS, PS2, Android, or you're emulating it. And why they haven't come back to this game, I don't know. But there is an interesting bonus, as you've just seen here. A demo of Final Fantasy XII came with this game. So there's more here than meets the eye. You can tell it when you hold this box. It has some heft and weight to it. You can feel that there's more than one disc inside. In fact, it's so heavy that the tray doesn't really want to stay in there anymore. Again, a sign this was used and played, which is the way I would like games to be. So I'm okay with that hinge being a little flip-floppy. And here's the Dragon Quest VIII manual. Back from the good old days when things came with full color instruction manuals. And there's even an unfilled out warranty registration card in here. So you know this was loved by someone, that they didn't want to mark it up or tear it off. They appreciated what they had. And I'm going to appreciate playing it once I check out the discs. This disc looks nice and clean, not perfect, but no big gouges, no obvious bit rot or data loss there. So I think we're in good shape. The Final Fantasy XII demo disc, also in good shape. Maybe one scratch there, but I think it'll probably work. If not, I should be able to buff that out. But I'm liking what I see here. And I don't mean this to be a plug for Ben's, but maybe it is. He's really, really good about taking returns if something doesn't work. Just recently, I had a copy of Resident Evil 5 for Xbox 360 that didn't work, even though you couldn't really see any scratches on it, and I don't know why it wouldn't play in any 360 I own, but he said, no problem. Took it back, gave me store credit right back. And if you want something in cash, he'd probably give you the cash right back too. So store credit worked for me because I still wanted to spend my money there, and I always do. But anyway, we're going to take a look at these games. Now, the good news with Final Fantasy XII is there are no such limitations on how you can play this. It has been re-released multiple times. It's on PS4, Windows, Switch, and Xbox One. So just because it originally came out back in 2006 in North America and Japan doesn't mean you can't experience this game today. So if you like what you see here, even though it's just a demo disc that came bundled with another game, feel free to check out Final Fantasy XII. Some people deride the PlayStation 2 era Final Fantasy games as Final Fantasy Hallway. I mean, that's sort of fair, but sort of not. I guess it all depends on how you feel about artificial walls that break the inflow of the game when you can't freely roam anywhere. But at the same time, I like being guided toward a goal to some degree. There's some fun to be had in open world environments, but there's also some fun to be had in an RPG where you just get a goal and you know what to do and you know how to do it. Like here in this area of the demo, you had to defeat a certain number of specific monsters to unlock a boss fight with this giant dinosaur or whatever the dinosaur is called in this game. And then you defeat the dinosaur and that quest is over. There's nothing wrong with being given a goal and shown how to get to the goal and then being able to complete the goal and being rewarded for completing that goal. Who said that was a bad thing in video games? This idea that everything has to be open world or massively multiplayer is not for everyone and not suitable for every game either. So let people live is what I'm saying. If you want to play a game like Final Fantasy 12 where you're strictly limited to doing certain things and have optional side quests here and there, I say go for it. I like it. I don't know if everybody likes it, but not everybody likes all Final Fantasy games and not everybody likes all games anyway, so it is what it is. Now, as for Dragon Quest VIII, this game was revolutionary in a lot of ways when it came out. It was the first Dragon Quest game released in North America to be called Dragon Quest and not Dragon Warrior. It was also the first game in the series to use cel shading for the animation. If that term is unfamiliar to you, then the best way I can explain it is watch any of these cutscenes or any of the ones that are rendered by the game's engine where the characters are talking to each other, and you will notice that it looks like an episode of Dragon Ball Z. And not just because Toriyama designed these characters, but because there's an aspect of them that has been, the colors have been simplified and the outlines have been made thicker and blacker, and that's what cel shading is. It gives everything a cartoon like quality. And I think it's a good quality. I think it actually creates more immersion when you're playing a game like this because you're not thinking about it as 3D rendered polygons. You're thinking about it as a cartoon that you're somehow interacting with and controlling. And I think that's fantastic. And the fact that it looks like it's straight out of an episode of Dragon Ball gives it even more charm as far as I'm concerned. This game is somewhat valuable today. You probably noticed that there was a price sticker on it, $45 complete with the demo disc and the slipcover. But I don't feel that's too bad given it probably sold for $60 at launch back when it first came out. So to me, that's worth it. I'm happy to pay that price, especially when it's complete. And I just wish this game would get updated to modern platforms because I hate to think about the fact that if you don't own a PS2 or a 3DS or an Android device, there's no way for you to play Dragon Quest VIII. It should be more available than that, especially when it's got a very high Metacritic average. The PS2 version, 89 out of 100. 3DS version, 85 out of 100. Lots of different reviews gave it 9 out of 10. Famitsu gave it 39 out of 40. It's considered to be a classic of the Dragon Quest series. So if you've never played it before now, I might even recommend the PS2 version over any other version just because of the charm of going all the way back to this era of gaming. I think it looks and plays great, especially upscaled through my RetroTink 4K using component cables, and I've got a Retro Fighters controller that works on PS1, 2, and 3, so I can play this wirelessly while it's being upscaled. and I'm not noticing any lag. Not that it's really easy to notice with an RPG, but I just don't sense it anyway. So I'm saying this is a win for me all around. $45 well spent for a demo disc, a game I didn't have, a slipcover, and just a completely charming adventure. Dragon Quest VIII was worth the wait. I should have bought it sooner, but better late than never. I'm Mr. Mega Man Fan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.